Hello everybody and welcome to the Adventures of Drawing. I will draw a scene for you today using a variety of pencils and an eraser. So without further ado, let's dive right into this. For those of you who have watched a couple of videos, I did leave out the smudging tool on purpose because I want to try something new that I think I'm not going to use it for. I'm not going to use the smudging tool today. I'm trying. I don't know if I'd say you could consider this a new technique. Just trying something else. So there's going to be a mountain today. It's going to be in the midground, some foreground, and something in the background. I don't even need this horizon line. Don't know why I drew it. Could have just left it out. And if I wanted a very clean drawing, I should have. But we go with the flow right here. And that's what happened. We've got some stuff in there now. Okay. So I'm not going to give this guy a value today. I'm just going to try out what's going to happen if I place in a couple of lines here. So I'll draw a cloud just the way I draw the shadow side of the cloud every time. Now I'll give it an outline, and this enables me to put in the shapes in the side of the cloud. Sunlight's coming from the left, so we've got our shadows right here on the right side. And I just draw over this pre-sketched mountain on purpose, so there are no gaps between the mountain and the cloud later. Okay, just the shadows in here. This strangely looks way better on my screen than on my piece of paper. I don't know why. And I always think like that, but don't know. Maybe it's just a weird feeling of mine. Maybe it's because of how the camera lens changes what's in front of it. Anyway, we've got our cloud right here. And the next thing I'm going to draw is the background. And I want to have some mountains back there. So I'll just draw a random zigzag line and another zigzag line below it, because we have some mountains overlapping in the distance. This hill becoming a mountain right here. And then we've got some hills below the mountains. So I just draw some wavy lines. So thing coming out right there, maybe like so. Okay. Now we want those mountains to look three-dimensional. So for every line that goes as an inclination that points toward the top right, we are going to create a triangle below it just by drawing a spike that points downward like this and then filling it in. Right here the inclination is not very strong, so I just add a couple of lines right here. Another triangle right there. Not too strong of an inclination here, so there's just a couple of lines again. Inclination right here and right there. Okay. And then I just draw a couple of lines coming down from those hills to give them a bit of detail. Maybe a couple of hills in there where I didn't make any line previously. And just like that, we've got the left side of our background. Just gotta do the same thing right here now. To the right of our mountain. So I didn't stream yesterday, and this is a catching up stream, doing the stream that I would have had to do yesterday. I was sitting in front of my piece of paper right here, or more like in front of another one in another drawing block where I made a sketch for this right here for about 12 hours now, because I thought the drawing that I'm going to make right here is going to take just a very short amount of time. And so I didn't want to start. I didn't want to draw something that takes maybe just 10 minutes, because I want to give you a little bit more time. But I mean, I have a couple of drawings that are just 20 minutes, or maybe one that's 15, I don't know. And so I had to pull myself together and tell myself it's what it is. It's going to be just how long it's going to be. I don't have a contract or anything with guidelines that I have to fulfill, so I can do whatever I want for how long I want. So yeah, then I pulled myself together and started the stream finally. Also, my sleep schedule is really screwed up because I work night shifts. So yeah, just I don't know, to tell you and ramble on how my journey of drawing is going and my relationship with it. It's, I don't know, it's not an easy relationship. It's hard every time to start drawing, but well, here we are. We gotta do something with our lives, spend our time somehow when we're not working or sleeping. So here we go. Okay, I just filled in the shadow sides of this mountain in the midground using the same principle I used for the mountains in the background, just filling in the shadow sides, and I let what is the shadow side be determined by the angle of inclination of the side of the outline that I draw for the mountains. So now I want some detail in those surfaces of the mountain, and I'm just going to draw something going up like this, some structure, and then another line right here that has a much flatter zigzag than the first one. No, I'm going to add that later for the shadow side with a darker pencil. Now I'm going to make this darker since in my mind the peaks, those two peaks of the mountain are covered in snow, and so they are very bright. And down here we can see rocks. So there's a darker value down here. Just filling that in and then going in here, filling in those spikes going up there. Maybe like this. And maybe something comes down from the side right here, something in there that isn't connected to the area below. Okay. Do I want to add anything down there? It looks very empty down here. Let me just add another layer of just very basic shapes of this mountain. Applying a bit more pressure with the pencil and make this a little darker than the rest of this area. Okay, now going into the shadow areas, I will take the 3B pencil and then just repeat what I just did. Going in with some very slim spikes right here, then have something a little more flat, and then I'll give this area a value. Right there. Then going up here, making those spikes a little darker. And now I think I'll use the 7B pencil for the structure down here. Maybe I'll crosshatch horizontally. Not a lot of features in this mountain. But well, there we go. Okay, now for the foreground, I'll erase whatever lines are from the midground to have a clean foreground right here. And then I'll lay out a couple of shapes down here. Maybe like so. No, I'll make those lines darker with the 3B pencil, just so they stick out more, so that the foreground really appears to be in the foreground with a higher contrast. Okay, let me crosshatch this entire area. And now below each line I will add another layer of crosshatching to make the top layer a bit darker. I can just go across the entire line right here that separates the foreground from the midground. Then go over here. And now this one right here. And to have a little bit more variety, I'll add another layer of crosshatching right there. And maybe one right here. And let's say right there as well. Okay. I'm thinking about adding grass down there, but I want this to be different than what I do or did all the other times. So I'll just leave it at that. And I'm surprised that we are at 17 and a half seconds right now in the stream. So it did take me a little longer than I thought. But yeah, well, there we go. Just a drawing for the day, I guess. So I hope you still got something out of this. Maybe you're able to drag yourself to do something that you had to do for a long while. Or maybe it was just enough for you to be played in the background while you do something else. Maybe draw yourself, maybe get some work done. If you find yourself coming back to the video, to the stream, to the channel, please consider subscribing. Consider giving the video a like if you liked it. And drop down in the comments to tell me what you think about my endeavors right here. Today, particularly, and maybe generally with the stream, with the entire channel. So, with all that said, thank you for dropping by, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.